So we have talked about handler class yesterday, right? So
Yeah.
basically, when we write a code, there can be a chances that our code can be break in some of line. So to that when the code breaks, we say yeah, some exception is coming on the code, and
Mhm.
that exception can be a different type. So basically, exceptions means that when your code break in between.
Yep.
Okay, and for to handle the exception, we have some method to handle the exception. So basically, so for example, if I say I am getting some error in this line of code, so
Mhm.
if I get any exception, so my functionality will break there. It will not work because
Yep.
of one line of code. To handle that part of, so what we do, we just do the error handling. So
Mhm.
basically, when we talk about exception, exceptions are the event when those occurs when the code breaks. Okay, and
Yep.
basically, if you say notepad, basically we have exception, right? We have two type of exceptions. One is custom custom exception, one is system defined exception. System defined exceptions are the those exceptions which are defined by the Salesforce. System have means that system have defined those exception. Okay, if I
Yep.
say types, it is visible to you. Okay, just give me types of exception. So basically we have two types of exception in the Salesforce. One is, sorry, exception. One is of your system exception,
Mhm.
one is system exception, and one is your that custom exception. So when we talk about system exception means system have defined those exception. Or for custom means when you want your own message, when you want for a own type of exception. For example, you want define your own exception, you will define your custom exception.
Yep.
System exception, for example, if you are inserting any record, right? If you are inserting any record and that record failed due to some required field, so that type
Mhm.
of DML accept it will give me a DML exception, right? That your required field is missing. So that when the insertion is not performing, the deletion or updation is not performing due to some required field or some validation rule, so that we will get a DML exception. So it is a system defined exception. Okay,
Yep.
and if we it then we have a list, we have a list exception means when it says that you don't have, for example, you have a list of s object. Okay, and this list of record is empty because you don't have any data on this list. Okay, and you try to get any field from this record. If you try to get like this list of s object, okay, and you want to get ACC, for example, and if I say ACC dot 0 dot
Mhm.
ID, if you see, this part, okay, let me control press. If you want to get this ID 0.0.0 dot ID, it should have some value, right? Index means
Mhm.
this list should have one value, means one list item should be there to get like indexing value. If this list is empty and you are getting this 0.ID, so it will give you a list type of exception. Okay, list
Mhm.
type of exception means that you don't have any data on this object. Okay, and then we have a null pointer exception. Null pointer exception null pointer exception null pointer exception is that we when we are querying any data and it is null. Okay, for example, I want to get any data and we don't have any value in that parameter, so it will give me a null pointer exception. Null
Mhm.
pointer exception, for example, if I say I have a map, if I have a map of id comma s object, and I don't have any id here, means I don't have that id which I'm querying. For example, I will say my map name is dcsc. If I say sc dot get and 3, this is my key, I want to get this key value, but in this map I don't have key 3, so it will give you a null pointer exception. It will say null pointer exception means we don't have a key 3 on this map.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
and and these are the exception we are talking about, right? And these are types of exception: system and custom exception. Custom exception are those exceptions just we create a, mean just we override the standard exception generics to show the generic message on the UI. Okay, if I
Mhm.
show you the code part, so let me, before showing the code, let me give you more idea. See, if you say how to handle you to handle your code, you will have a try catch block. Okay,
Mhm.
try catch. So it's a good practice to write your code always inside try catch.
Mhm.
Okay, and then we have one more block finally. So what it means that first the code which we want to execute, right? Code which 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 need to be executed. So that line of code will be written here.
Mhm.
For example, you want to query the data, you want to insert the data, whatever you want to do, you will do inside this try block. Okay.
Yep.
And if that code is breaking, for example, this if the line of code is breaking, for example, you say, okay, account account equals to new account. Okay, you write this line of code and you put insert 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 acc. Okay, if you do like this, so it means you will get an error because you are not putting any value, right? So when this line of code will break here, so it will come inside this catch block.
Yep.
This it will be handled by this catch block. And what you will write here, we have a class exception. It is
Mhm.
system defined exception class. We have an exception ex. So when this code having error, it will catch to this block.
Mhm.
Okay, and you will you will print you, but whatever the, for example, you want to insert a log, because in many time it be the scenario that you will want to just add your logs, right? What error you are
Mhm.
getting. So what we will do, we will add, means it is for, I will create a log object. Log is a, this is not a standard object. Okay, I'm saying
Mhm.
we will create a custom object to store all the logs, in which class I'm getting error, in which trigger I'm getting error, in which process builder I'm getting error. So all that part I will just create a log object where I will add all the requirement. So all the this catch errors. Okay.
Yep.
So if you want see, it is a exception is a class, and the class we define a method, right? So it is a standard class. So we have a method here. We have get line number, we have get line number, get message. So these get line number will tell you at which line number of code you are getting error.
Yep.
Okay, get message will help you to get the message what type of error you are getting. Okay,
Mhm.
once you come to the catch block, finally block is a block which don't care about your exception. It say, okay, if your code is breaking, your code is not breaking, it will come to the finally block. Okay, finally block is a block which is used to run, which, for example, the part of code you want to execute, it is mandatory to execute, so that part you will write inside the catch block, sorry, finally block. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me show you that part. Okay, so just give me 1 minute. Here, oh, this is some alag block. This is a line of code. So let me create a new class for it. This is my okay. This is so for exception, you will go here apex class and you will say exception handling. See, so I'm, for example, if I write a code, okay, if I say public static void insert account. Okay, so basically what I want to insert an account, and I say account acc equals to new, okay, new account, and if I try to insert this acc, see this, what this line of code is my doing, I want to create an account and insert this account, right? But this code is saving also, right? It is not giving me error, your code, you are missing a, you are not adding a required field, nothing it is giving me. So let me try to run this code, exception handling dot insert, control C, and let me run this highlighted part. See what is saving, see system.dml exception, which I'm explaining to you, right? Here what I'm saying. So it is a giving me system.dml exception, this one. Why it is giving me? Because I am performing a insert operation. It is saying system DML exception insert field. We are failing insert. Insertion is failing because we are not filling the required name. Okay,
Yeah.
but this will break my code line of, it will break my functionality. Okay, for example, I want to, means it will break my code, and if there is a number of code, right, number is just single 2 line of code, but when there is a 1,000 line of code, and if you want to know in which line error is coming, so you will not get the error like this, just you will not debug. Okay, you have to just check in the log. So what you will do? Okay, to get safer side, okay, I will say, okay, I'm writing my code inside my try block. Okay, and if I say catch, catch, see, catch, and we have a class exception. This is my standard class. Okay,
Yeah.
this is my exception class ex, and we are, for example, when I initiate this class, just I give the variable name, right? For example, if you initiate any class, what do we write? Class AC equals to new class new, we write like this only, right? But how we write class instead when we're talking about constructor, we write class dot variable name,
Yeah.
right? So similarly, but here we are writing class dot variable name. Okay. So
Mhm.
exception is my class and I'm declaring my variable name. So I told you that we have exception is a standard class, and in this exception we have method. If I say system dot debug line number, line number. Okay.
Mhm.
So if I want to get where this line is breaking, so I will write ex dot get number. So we have a method inside this exception class. Okay. So I will write this. What it is giving me? Okay, it is giving that method exception by system dot debug get number. Method just get number ex get numbers. Okay. So we have get line number. Okay, this is a method number. Okay. So we don't have void get number, we have a get line number. If you go to this, let me print ex dot why it is showing, but so if you click on right ex dot, this automatically give you the names. Okay, it will give you
Mhm.
that line number, whatever the method are available for this ex variable, it will automatically give you. Okay, so we have one more method. If you say ex dot message, get message, get message, we have this method or not? Let me check. Okay, we have this method. Okay, so see, it is my error handling. What I'm doing now, I'm doing a error handling. Okay, if I run this line of code and execute highlighted, so it is working properly. It is not breaking my code. It is just, we are just getting a log, right?
Mhm.
Success. It before it is giving me error. Insert failed, and now I'm getting a success because I have done a error handling. If I debug here, see, it is giving line number 8. It is saying your line number 8 is breaking. So it means I want to go here. Where is line number 8? Here. This line is breaking. Okay. And second thing, what it is saying, insert field. Line number, insert field. What message I'm getting? Insert field because of this required field missing. Understood?
Mhm. Yep.
See, now it is a, which type of exception it is showing me? DML exception, right?
Mhm.
It is a DML exception. Now, for example, if you say, let me do one thing. Okay, let me show you a different type of exception. List of account. Okay, ACC new account. Okay, and we have ACC dot zero dot ID. So see what I'm doing. See what I'm doing. I'm just initiating that list of account. Sorry, this have to make a list. What I'm doing, I'm just initiating the list of record here. Nothing I am doing. But this, we don't have any account in this list, right?
Mhm.
It will be a null only. If I print this system dot debug and try to save. Don't do insertion also for now. Let me save. Then okay. See, so now let me save. Don't do the error handling and see before what exception we are getting. We are getting a DML exception. Let's see
Mhm.
what exception we get now. Let me save this and let me debug. See, system list exception, list index out of bound. What it means that we are getting a list element, zero indexing, right?
Mhm.
But we don't have any item inside this list because this list is empty, null, na? Because just we
Mhm.
are initiating the list. We are not doing anything. Just we are not adding any record of account here. We are just initiating. Just we are giving a memory location to this variable. We are not
Yep.
putting on the first day. If you remember, just I said we just give a memory allocation to this variable, right? Just when we just when we describe a variable, just we give a memory allocation. And what I'm doing, giving a memory allocation. So basically, I'm giving okay. I'm saying okay, just get this space. This space it is getting like this. It is getting space like this. If I say this space it is getting right like this it will get a space. Now I will add a account here, one account, two, three, four, whatever number of account I want to add. So I will add here, but for now it is an empty, and
Yep.
from this empty I'm trying to get a one value, but I don't have any value, right? It is like a empty glass, we don't have anything inside it. Okay, so it is giving me null pointer, sorry, system list out of bound exception.
Yep.
Okay, so basically that we have system means when we just do if you do this thing. Okay, this this is all the exceptions. Basically main logic to handle exception is do the try catch. So if I
Mhm.
say integer, if I say integer integer I equals to 1 divided by 0. Okay, and let me see and see what exception it will give. So these all are the exception. Okay, okay, we have already here. If I execute highlighted, see system dot met exception divided by 0. So you can get any type of exception, right? So
Mhm.
this exception no one can means no one can learn all the exceptions. So basically what we will do, we will just write a try catch block, and we will, if we getting any exception, we will just put that exception in the log object. So it
Yep.
will be easy for us to get okay where we are getting the line, where we are getting the exception, so we can handle with a try catch block. Okay,
Mhm.
so this is a system exceptions. So when we talk about custom custom exception, so what we do in the custom exception, we just describe our own exception. It is giving me right, it is giving me system DML exception, null pointer exception, right? But
Mhm.
if you want to describe your own exception, so what we will do, we will just do a what we will do just okay, we will say okay, we want my own exception. So what I will do, I will extend the exception class, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
this class is already a this class is already a standard class. Okay, so when you extend this class, so for example I say extend means if I am a parent, so my properties will be inherited by my child, right?
Mhm.
So I'm just extending this class, so it will be my parent class. So and it will be my child class. So I am inheriting my this will be a act like a child, and it work like a parent. So it will inherit all the properties.
Yeah.
So extend means just a parent child relationship, means it will just inherit that all the properties of the exception class. Okay.
Mhm.
So what are it's giving? Class and name must have the name. uh, What it's saying that class extending must have a name ending. Okay. Okay. So it is saying that when we are creating any class, okay, let me don't extend this class. So it is, so if you see now, if see I'm just giving lecture, but yeah, see this also, right? What error we are, it is saying that class extending exception class extending exception must have a name ending with the exception. It means whenever you are creating a custom exception, so you have to, at the end of class name, you should have a exception written there.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let me, so this is small point. Okay, let me save this. I will create a new class. I will say custom exception. Okay, let me save. So what error it was giving? So whenever you are creating a custom exception, so at the end of your class name, exception should be there. Okay,
Yeah.
so now it is not giving me any error.
Mhm.
Okay, and it automatically take extend exception. So basically, if you want to create your own exception, right? So what you will write? Public static void custom. Okay, and what I'm saying, create my own exception. Catch. So this is my, so see what I have said, ki this is a exception class, right?
Mhm.
So it will inherit the properties of exception because it will like a parent. So in the place of this, I can use this. If you any doubt, now just ask me. Okay, just don't say yes. Okay, you understand this? Why I'm writing this custom exception ex?
Yes. Yeah.
Because we are extending this class,
Mhm.
right? So we are saying, okay, we can use now this class because this is equal to this, means all the properties are inherited by this custom exception.
Yeah.
Okay, and if I say system dot debug hello custom exception, now I want, see, this is my custom class. Okay, now as I said you, whenever we have to pass the parameter on the constructor, how we pass, I will, okay, I will say throw new initiate this class. Okay, we are initiating this class, and I will say my custom exception handle. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm initiating my this class variable.
Mhm.
Whenever just we have to, whenever we have to initiate our custom exception, so I'm saying throw is a keyword to throw an exception, to throw an custom exception. Okay, now I want to get this exception. So how we just get a message? What I will do, system dot debug ex dot get message. See, now we will get our own exception. If I say, let me print this and see what we, okay, it will give an error because we have to make this. Let me run this and okay, to run this class, copy this and this. Okay, execute the highlighted part. Okay, let's see what exception is giving. My custom exception handle. Now it is giving me custom message, not that standard message. Understood or anything? Any doubt you have till now?
No, I got this one. Yeah, try catch and put all the custom. Yeah.
So basically, when you want your custom exception, na, you will have to extend that exception class. Okay,
Yeah.
and if you are using a system exception, so what you will do? You will do a exception class. This is your this is a parent class, and if you want your own exception, so what you will do? You will just extend that class and override that message with this throw.new.
Okay.
Okay, so basically this is a means array handling, how you do the array handling. Okay, and just for the best practices, what we do in the project, we just, for example, if I want to just system.debug printing is not a way of hand, means how we can know that means how we are able to get this system.debug, right? So we will not do a system.debug. I'm just, for the study purpose, I'm showing that what message we are getting. For the project perspective, what we used to do, okay, we just create a log object. We create a log object. In the log object, we will create a line number. In one field will be a line number, one field will be a get message. Okay, and one will be the, sorry, get message, not, it will be like message field. So I will give a message field. Okay, and one will be my status code. Okay, and one will by class name, component name. We don't say class name, we say component name. So basically, when you are inserting the error record, na, you will just say line equals to, if I say to you, you will say log g equals to new log. You understand me? This is a custom object. Now it is not a standard functionality. I'm saying how to track your logs. So what you will say, g dot line number, ex dot get line number, g dot message equals to ex dot get message, g dot status code equals to your that ex dot status code. Component name will be your this class name.
Yeah.
Okay, and base, and one more thing you can, we also add method name. Okay, we add method name also. So method name will describe in which method we are getting the error. Okay, so this is a way of handling the logs. And if you are not, if you miss, if it is not helping you to understand where we are getting the logs, so what we can do, second thing, what we comes to here,
Yeah.
deployment. Okay, sorry, not deployment is different thing. We will debug, and we have a debug logs. Okay, so if you want to test any bug, so what you will do, you will create a new. Okay, here you will say username. When you are testing with the any one of the user, right, you will put a username here. For example, I put a dancing. If I want, if see, new debug log, new debug, this means that you want workflow debug logs. You, what debug logs you want? If you want workflow, it will give a workflow logs.
Yeah.
Okay, it will give you all workflow rules. And if you say debug, so it will give you that apex statement. See, if you say bulk countable statement, so it will give all your apex code. Okay,
Mhm.
So, and we have this system also. So basically what I used to do, I used to put all final log, means error, if error is coming from any site, it will give me a log, it will give me a log. But you specifically know that, yeah, this error can be because of your workflow from the, or it can be of Apex code. So you can do only one final, means you will just put a Apex code only.
Yep.
Okay, understood this part
Yep.
of all debugging log. And and for example, this log you are getting, right, this here is a tab where we get a debug log. These are logs we
Mhm.
are getting. But if you click here, it is only a single record, right? It is not a long data. If you, it is a single line of code, it is like a 10 or 20 line of code. But in your project you can have a 100 or 1000 line of code, right? 100,000, 2000, it can be an number of line of code can be there, right? So what you can do,
Mhm.
you have a right click. See, we have a open log, we have a download log, we have a raw log. You
Mhm.
can do the, you can download that log, or if you want to give that log to someone to do R&D, you can download that log and you give someone. Or if you want to check what data you are having, that data is not printing, so it will, you will click on open log, it will give us in this format,
Yep.
and you will able to get all the data, it will give you all the raw data.
Mhm.
Okay, and anything what we have, test. Okay, so this is, we have covered about error handling. Any doubt in error handling?
I know all good.
Okay, so see, this is means basically error handling covered try catch block and what error you are getting. So you will write your code in try catch block, and yep, it is a best practice to write your code in a try catch block, because if you are getting any error, so you will able to understand, okay, where I am getting that error. Okay, so see, this is a array handling. So we see, we have talked about classes also, like we have talked about classes, but before now we have test classes. So if you know about test, you know about test classes.
Test classes, yes, I do heard about it, but not.
Okay, so basically see, test classes, now Salesforce says that if you want, see, we have a lower org, right? We have, first we have a dev org. Okay, then we have UAT org, then we have a SAT org, then we have a production org.
Mhm.
So it is a level of org. So basically, first what we do, we just do the development in the dev org. We say dev org. Those org are called dev org. But when you want to move your code to the production org, na, you can't move your code without the test classes. For
Yep.
example, if you want to move these classes, this class, and this trigger, if you want to move all this, so you can't move this to production until you have your all test classes ready, and that test class should be covered more than 75%.
Okay.
75 is minimum, you
Mhm.
should cover, means 80-85 you should cover. And
Mhm.
if your test class is giving you 80%, but you have error in your test class. For example, if I run my test cases, my four method are giving me 80% of coverage. In fifth method, I am having my error. That is, it is giving me null pointer exception, DML exception, something it is giving me. So that class will also be not deployed.
Mhm.
So you have to just that remove that error from the class. So basically, the test class means it is a unit testing, right? So it is a unit testing to validate the class which you have written will work perfectly or not. So it is like a test cases. For example, if you there is a two-way testing, right? One is a manual testing,
Mhm.
one is a automation testing. So you can say it's like a automation testing.
Yep.
Whenever this you are running the class, all the data is passing to a main class, or it is actually working as you expecting or not, or it is breaking somewhere. So to cover that part, Salesforce says that you have to create a Apex test classes to cover your main classes. And if your main classes are not covered with test classes, you can't do the deployment on the production org. Okay, so basically a test class, when we write a test class, so see, these are the normal classes. These are the normal classes we write. Okay, if I say this is my normal classes. So basically when we write our test classes, what we do at the is test. So this defines that this class is my test class. Let me create new class because I have to work with this class to cover. So if I go new Apex class, so basically how we just, for the better understanding, what we say, trigger account class test. We just give name like this. So basically we can understand, okay, this is a test class of trigger account class. Okay, basically see, it is only a like a normal class, but to make it like a test class, so what we say is test. Now if I say, it will say, okay, so whenever I was running my class, it will take as it is a test class.
Yeah.
Also, so we have to give a annotation of a is added test. Okay, and for test class we have some parameters. Okay, see, first we have set all data. Set all data we should never use, because we should not use set all data,
Yeah.
because it is used, what it do, it do the data, it pick the data from your org, right? But it will, for example, if I say set data equals to true, okay, so in my dev org, it will run, my class will run perfectly because I have my data. If I have my account data, it is work perfectly. But when you are moving to the production, there will be no data, right? There it will fail, because set all data, what do it, it get the data of your system. System is org, means that Salesforce org. Let me say org. Okay, so you understand why we should not use this set all data. So basically what I'm saying, you should never use set all data, because it just take the data from your org.
Okay. Yeah.
So when for timing, it will just pass your test cases when you are running this class in your org. But when you're deploying this class with the test class, it can break, because in your second org, in a upper org, you don't have this data, right?
Okay.
So this is a set all data. Then we have stop test, stop test, and I will just give you the overview of the test class. We will do test class tomorrow. Start test and stop test. Okay. So start and stop test do it rest, what I can say, it restart the governor limit. It means it just give just it is means restart my governor limit. When what of line of code you write inside this start test and stop test, it will like a, if you write a code of, if you do the insertion again with the start and stop test, it will just restart my governor limit. It will not count as a, it will not count as a whole transaction. Understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So basically if I say insert acc, okay, one I am written like this, and and one code I have written start test and stop test. Start test. If I say start test and stop test, if I write inside this insert ACC, insert insert ACC, so it will just help to means it help us to restart a governor limit.
Yeah.
So basically, whenever you're doing the DML option, you should use start test and stop test. Basically, whenever you're doing the method calling, just write your code inside start test and stop test.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And whenever you are creating a method, okay. So what you have to write? You have to write is test. Then you will write your method name. Okay. Then you will write a method name. We will describe your method here. Okay. Whenever in main class we never use is test when we are writing a method name, but whenever we are writing a method name, so we will define a is test on the class. Okay.
Mhm.
So these all are the properties. Let me comment this. So just you can write down these properties, or we can, if you start tomorrow, so it will be the easiest way. It will be easy for you to understand. And then it comes with, then we have test visible. Test test visible. Test visible at the rate test visible. So at the rate test visible is used for the private variables or private method. For example, you have a method, private method, right? Those those method can't be accessed to this class because those method are your private method. Private method can be initiated within the class or within the method, right?
Mhm.
But if you want to cover that test class, so how you are covering that test class, because that method are private. So what you have to do, you have to give an annotation on the main class at the rate test visible. So whenever you are covering that test class, you will able to access that method.
Yeah.
Okay. So and see, they are means what we do, we will create a data at the one time only. So we have setup data. So what setup data do? We just set up a data according to our class at a one time. At a one time, we will just set up all the data according to our need.
Yeah.
Okay. And we will use that data. For example, I insert a 10 account here, 10 account. Okay. I insert a 10 account. In I will write a method here is test public static void test class. So basically, I will not insert the data again here. What I will do, I will query the data from the above. So
Mhm.
whenever your class will initiate, it will just create first, this method will be initiating. All the data it will be created here, and you can access that data in the methods. Because if you not do this thing, you have to create a data again and again in all the methods. So
Yeah.
it is a good habit that create a data once and use that data in all the method to remove redundancy. Okay. Duplicacy we can remove with the setup data, because if you again do insertion, it's like a only a 10 line of code will become a 20 line of code.
Mhm.
So to remove the duplicacy, just we have to set up the data at the initiating of the class. So these all are the variables which we will be using tomorrow for the test classes. Any doubt here?
No, all good. Thank you. Stop.
Okay, okay. So, okay, you can, okay, so this part is done. So have you installed your VS Code?
No, not yet. Yeah.
So basically, I mean, in 1 or 2 days, you know how to set up your VS Code, or you will set up your VS Code by your own.
No, then I need some assistance. I need to get my personal laptop to do that, right?
Yeah, you will doing that on your personal laptop only.
Okay. I just need to install the exe, like the VS Code exe.
So basically, see what you will do now. Just do. We have CLI.
Okay.
You have to let me. So okay, let me. My screen is visible to you, na? You
Yeah.
have VS Code in your system or not?
No, I still don't have it. Yeah.
Okay. So what we will do? VS Code, Windows. You have Windows or Mac, which you have.
Windows.
Okay. So you will having this. So let me give you. So you can install from here. Okay. Here it is giving me this. Okay. I don't want. Pause. So okay. Just copy. If you copy this, you will able to install that. And just you have a 64 na. Just click on here. You will able to install your that VS Code setup.
Okay.
Okay. Once you set up your means once your VS Code is installed, we have CLI. Insert CLI. So we have this CLI. So you have to install that CLI that for it. See, all it is giving here for window, right?
Mhm.
Means just means in CLI I will give you CLI. CLI install. CLI install. So what we can do now? We will set. Yeah, it will take a lot. I mean, I want that you will set up your VS Code by your own. So you will get. Mm, okay, do one thing now. Just first install this window. Okay, and second, you can install CLI.
Okay.
You and then you will just have to. We have environment variable. If you say if we environment variable, just try your own. If you don't understand, I will just help you. Okay,
Yeah.
then
Okay.
once you click on this now, we have here environment variable. Then we have to set your path here. Just if you go there, you have to create a new and you have to set your path. For example, you will java.home. We have a that has Java file na, JDK
Mhm.
file we say. So you have to put Java underscore home, and that you have to put a path name. Once you install that CLI na, cancel. Once you click on once your VS Code is installed and that what is installing here? I don't want to install anything. Okay. Once you install your CLI na, so what will happen? You will go to the C drive. You will go to a C drive. So we have program files here.
Mhm.
Inside program file, see it is my Java file, right?
Mhm.
We have a Java file inside JDK. You will have a bin.
Mhm.
You have to copy this and you have to paste that file on your home where I have shown the environment variable. Just try your own. Otherwise, we will set up your VS Code. No worries.
Okay. No worries. Then. Thank you.
Okay. So we can start with the VS Code because just we will start with the Apex classes and the trigger we have completed. And I want to show you that part on the VS Code also, that how to create a component, because when we are dealing dealing with component, so we can't work on the developer console.
Yeah, cool. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, bye, take care.